Well, good evening, everybody. We are going to do a quick review tonight. This is our second review of Alamo Car Rental. Now, we're about a couple of weeks late doing this, but we wanted to wait a couple of weeks also before we did it. This is in regards as a follow-up to our Texas trip back at the end of April. So, if you'll recall, our career in car rental review started with our experience with Avis, and that has become a very famous review, and many of your it's your favorite review, where I basically scorched them for their dishonest business practices. I don't like to deal with dishonest companies, so I said in that first video that we would never rent from Avis again. We have not. So our next occasion to rent a car was this past Christmas, and we rented from Alamo in Knoxville, Tennessee. And we rented a Toyota 4Runner, took it to Florida, and returned it and dropped it off in Charlotte, North Carolina. It was a pickup in one spot and a drop off in another spot, which usually comes with a little bit higher rate, but we felt that we got a good rate then. So in fairness, we thought if we were going to give Avis a bad rental, we needed to give you an honest review of Alamo rental as well. And our experience at Christmas time was very good. There was a little kink in it to begin with because they gave us the keys to a vehicle that when I looked in the window had Wendy's cups and bags still in it. It had not been cleaned. I told them I was not going to accept that vehicle, so they actually upgraded me a class at no extra charge, and that's how we got the 4Runner. So the main thing I wanted to watch, because this is what Avis did, I wanted to watch to see if Alamo did it, was once we turned the vehicle in, if we started seeing fraudulent charges showing up on our card. And with Alamo, we did not. That was a very good experience, other than, again, what I just mentioned about it starting off with them giving us a vehicle that hadn't been cleaned. That went very well. We never did get an extra charge. We turned it in full of gas, just like we always do. Avis tried to say we didn't. We did. Alamo did not try that. So it was a good experience. So when we needed another rental car for our Texas trip, if you'll remember, on April 27th, we flew into Dallas-Fort Worth out of Charlotte, so we obviously needed a vehicle to get around. So we pre-reserved. I had already reserved through Alamo again, and I did it for two reasons. Number one, we had just had a good experience with Alamo a few months ago, so I wanted to give them another go-around with our business. And the second place is, when you're going to Texas, you just auto rent from Alamo. You know, just the name itself says Texas. So for those two reasons, and we also did something we never done before, and that's we rented a pickup. We actually reserved a pickup. So again, you're in Texas, you ought to drive a truck. So whenever you rent a vehicle online, here's what it usually does. It doesn't tell you exactly what your vehicle is going to be, and I'm going to come back to this point in a minute. It will usually give you an example, and then it'll say or similar. And I think in our example, if I'm not mistaken, it was a Chevy Colorado or similar.
Yes.
You always get the or similar. I don't think we've ever had a reservation and gotten exactly what they said, but it's a category, it's a class. So that's what we rented, and we did it for the rate of $391 and some change. And that was supposed to be from Thursday night to return on Monday in San Antonio. So again, different pickup location, different drop-off location, which is a little bit higher. So what happened there? And let me just give you a little bit of what happened before we flew out, and then I'll tell you how the rental experience went. We originally had a late flight plan because we did not know our work schedule, if we were going to have to work full days or not. And I think we initially booked a flight leaving Charlotte at 8 something.
Yeah, it was pretty late in the evening.
You gain an hour going into Dallas in the Central Time Zone. But we had it figured we would probably be at our motel room about 11 at night. So we went ahead and reserved with Alamo for an 11 o'clock p.m. pickup at the airport, at the Dallas-Fort Worth airport. That's what our reservation was for. Well, I think you found out maybe you were going to get to leave a little bit earlier from work, and I can pretty much get off when I need to. I can go in, or I have the option of going in early and knocking off early, so I can do that on my job. So we found out we were going to get to fly out of Charlotte at I think our flight was scheduled for 3 something. I don't remember the exact numbers right offhand. It ended up being delayed an hour and a half. But anyway, we realized we were going to be getting to Dallas Fort Worth about 4 hours ahead of what we had originally reserved our car for. So when we tried to call Alamo back, we were initially going to cancel that reservation and book another one, but by doing that, the rate was going to almost double. So we finally talked to a gentleman on the phone with Alamo, and he said, here's what I would do. Because I said, look, I don't want to get there 4 hours before we're supposed to pick it up and then them give us trouble. He says, your vehicle's going to be there 4 hours ahead of time or more. He said, if you just leave the reservation you've got in the system, even though it says 11 p.m., just walk up to the counter whenever you get there and just tell them that you got an earlier flight. He says, you're not going to have a problem. So he had actually already booked us a second reservation with a rate of over $600. He said, you know what, I'll just cancel that one. We'll keep the first one you got. He says, you're not going to have a problem when you get there. So I was a little nervous about that because it's like, okay, I'm talking to a guy on the phone who assures me of that, but you don't know what's going to happen when you get to the airport. So we finally did arrive at DFW. I think we landed, I don't remember what time we landed. Like I said, our flight was about an hour and a half late just taking off out of Charlotte. It was a nasty weather day. So we did end up getting to Dallas Fort Worth probably 3 hours before the 11 o'clock run. I'm going to say we got there a little bit before 8 o'clock maybe. So we're just hoping they're going to let us have our vehicle and we're not going to have to sit in the airport for a couple of hours. We got a dog under the table. I guess they're getting ready to fight each other. We got 2 dogs under the table. So anyway, we get to the airport and said, well, let's go see if we're going to be able to get our vehicle. And we got to the Alamo desk and told them that the situation, we had landed much earlier, and they said, no problem. So that was a sigh of relief, and they checked our reservation, says you're good to go. Walk out here into the parking garage, and one of our assistants will help you. So when we got out there, we were greeted by a young lady by the name of Taylor. That's her number, or her name, and on her card right here that she gave us. And very, very sweet and helpful. I've never had a car rental person be so helpful in my life.
Yeah, she was very nice. She actually said because of the class, there was like certain roads of vehicle that we could go down and pick our vehicle.
A couple of things happened that night. Yeah, that we've never had happen before with any rental, even Alamo previously. Mm-hmm. In Knoxville, they didn't treat us like this. It was almost like they were rolling the red carpet out.
Yeah.
You know. So what's the first thing she asked us when we walked out there, besides how are y'all doing this evening? Greeted us with a pretty smile. And
yeah, she was very friendly.
Yeah.
She wanted to make sure we had our water.
Yeah, she says, have you been given your water yet? I said, what water? Never had a car rental company give me water. So anyway, she goes, oh, you can each have a bottle of water. Now,
and the person who loves bottled water, who can't take it on the plane, I'm like, thank you.
Yeah. So we've never had that happen. I mean, I know it's not an expensive thing for them to do, but it's just a nice gesture.
Yes.
Never had that happen with any car rental place ever, not even Alamo last time. Now, her and I were kind of not, one of us is not remembering correctly. I remember it being a larger bottle of water, like a 1 liter size. And she's thinking...
I was thinking like a 20-ounce bottle.
Yeah, it's not your typical 16 by 9 ounces.
It was a little bigger, yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it was a liter size, because I remember having a hard time getting it all drunk that night. But just very impressed by that. And so then she said, what vehicle do you want? That's something else that's never happened. And I said, well, we have, we reserved, it said Chevy Colorado or similar. She goes, okay. Well, within that class, what were the 3? The Jeep?
There was, a Jeep. Was it a Wrangler?
I don't remember if it was a Wrangler. I don't remember what it was.
Oh, it was a Jeep truck, whatever those things are called.
Yeah.
There was that. There was what? A
Nissan Frontier or a Toyota Tacoma. She says, basically, which one do you want? Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, goodness, again, you're not expecting this. You just expect them to hand you the keys to something in that class. So I said, well, how close are they? Can we see them? She goes, sure. So she actually walks us over there and shows us the Jeep. It was bright red. Why did we not go with it? I don't remember why we didn't go with it. But
I don't remember. It had a back seat because we wanted to make sure we wanted a full cab.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't remember.
I'm not sure why we didn't go with it, but anyway, we looked at the Nissan Frontier, and then we ultimately decided on the Toyota Tacoma. So at that point, I don't know what happened there, but she said, first of all, they're owned by there's 3 companies that's owned by the same thing. Either Enterprise owns National and Alamo. So I think maybe she went and got one off of National's lot or Alamo's lot just to accommodate us because we wanted the Tacoma. Oh, I know what it was. We looked them up on your phone to see which one we thought looked the sharpest.
Oh yeah, yeah, because
So,
we couldn't see
yeah.
the other ones. They
So
weren't right there by the
we told her, I
Jeep.
said, I think we kind of like that. She goes, no problem. I'll go get you one.
Yeah.
And so we wait out there probably a good 8-10 minutes. It does take her a few minutes to go get it, but just I've never seen anybody bend over so backwards to be helpful.
And there was other people that worked in the area that would come and say, "Have you been helped yet?" I mean, they
Yeah.
were checking on us.
Yeah, and again, our previous experience with Alamo was good, but this was a notch above. And the way we were treated at Dallas Fort Worth, I just go ahead and tell you right now. I'm gonna say some more things. If you're flying into Dallas Fort Worth, I would definitely recommend renting with the Alamo there. They just, I don't know, they seem very professional in the way they did business. So anyway, she finally comes back with the Tacoma, and we're kind of tired. I don't remember what I said. I think I made a comment because of my last experience in Knoxville about the other one not being clean, and you could tell it hadn't been washed. It was kind of dirty, and I think I made it sound like, I hope it's not dirty on the inside. She goes, "Oh, we can have it washed and detailed for you if you want." I'm like, my mind's being blown here. And I said, no, you don't have to worry about that. I said, as long as it's clean on the inside.
And it was perfect on the inside.
On the inside, yes, it was.
Yeah.
But I kind of like overheard me saying that because I'm thinking back to my last experience when I look in there and see 2 Wendy's cups in a bag, And I just made a comment, said, I hope it's clean on the inside. She goes, and she offered literally have it cleaned for us. And I said, no, it's fine. The vehicle that we got did have some dings on it, and it had a little chip in the windshield. So I'm always in the habit of anytime I rent a vehicle, I document what's on the vehicle so that they don't come back later and say, well, you did this. So I always did that. And this one probably had more than its fair share of dings, but honestly, you had to get up, be close and looking for it. It's not something you're going to notice from across the parking lot. It was a sharp-looking vehicle. So, again, there's 3 companies that have the same ownership. There's Enterprise, National, and Alamo. Alamo tends to be the least expensive of the 3, generally because the vehicles may tend to have a little bit higher mileage on them, or maybe being a little bit less, tip-top shape. I want to say this one had about 17,000 miles on it.
Yeah, it wasn't very much.
But
And it did come with 2 keys. It came with like a fob and then a separate key, which I was really impressed with because normally you either get just one key or just one fob.
I like the idea of having a physical key.
Yeah, so we were like very happy about that.
Yeah, because one thing we do when we travel with pets is that we, if it's warm outside, it wasn't that warm in Dallas and Fort. By the time we got to San Antonio, if it's warm outside and we have to leave them in a vehicle, a pet can die. So there's times we have to lock a vehicle and leave it running with air conditioner. Mm-hmm. And it's always neat to have a key. You can't do that with something that's just got a fob. At least I hadn't figured out how.
Yeah.
But when you have a physical key, you can do that. Mm-hmm. So we were able to utilize that. So it was just an all-around, not just a smooth experience. I'd tell you if it was just a smooth experience like the last one with Alamo was. But this young lady went far and beyond what we've ever been treated before at a car rental place. So I have to mention her name. If you're fortunate enough to be there when she's on duty, you're going to be treated right. So I guess what I was going to say there, it was kind of tired. So I said, no, don't worry about cleaning up. Just let me look at the inside real quick. She didn't. We were satisfied, so we left and returned it back to San Antonio. So even when you return it back, it's flawless. You drive in there, the guy comes up, he does a few things, tells you you're good to go. I even asked him, said, don't you need to check it out, make sure I returned it full of gas? He says, no, he says, you're fine. So it's when you get home, you wait a couple of weeks before you do the review. You wait to see if things start showing up or if you get that letter in the mail. Again, you remember Avis accused us of smoking in the vehicle. Ain't neither one of us smoked. We don't smoke. We can't be around it. That's just what was hilarious about that. They said we smoked in the vehicle. We can't even ride in somebody else's vehicle that they smoke in. It's miserable. So get back home, not one single charge at all. In fact, some of the dings I was worried about, and I have pictures and videos on my phone even now, if I need them. They haven't said a word. So basically, we got charged what they said they would charge us. Mm-hmm. So, you got anything you want to add to this review?
No, I mean, it was a very seamless, great experience.
Yeah, it was probably the best car rental experience I've ever had. Mm-hmm. Now, we do have another car rental experience coming up in, 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks, right around that time. There is an Enterprise right. Listen, if we had an Alamo that I didn't have to drive to Charlotte to, that's where we'd be renting from. But again, it's the same company, so we are having to pay a little more. We actually have an Enterprise a mile and a half from our house, so just for convenience sake, and the fact we got 1,100-mile drive and we're leaving in the afternoon, we're just going to Enterprise right up here above the house and paying a little bit more. But goodness, it's by the time we had to drive to Charlotte to Alamo, it'll be same difference. So,
and when we get back, we're going to be tired. It's like just running up there and come back home.
And we will review Enterprise. Now, as of right now, since it is the same company, I can honestly tell you in our last 2 experiences with this company, they do not cheat you. So I hope that remains the same. If there is anything that occurs during the Enterprise review, we will do another review on them as well. But I'm just going to say, right now we're very happy with Alamo. The way that they've done, they're on par price wise with Avis and budget. But listen, I'd rather pay them $50 more just to not have to fight them. You know. But yeah, I just want to say I want to give a shout out to that young lady, and I think we're going to, if there's a way we can tag them in this review. I'd like for her, whoever's over her, to know how she treated us.
Right. Yeah.
So, because she's a credit to the company. So anyway, that was the night of April 27th. Turned it back in May 1st. And have not heard a word from them since. No trouble. No after rental issues with them. Just a good experience overall. So definitely give Alamo a thumbs up. Especially the Alamo at Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport a thumbs up. You got anything else?
No. I think
All
we covered
right.
it. So
thank y'all for watching this review. If you want to rent a car, go with Alamo, and I pray your experience is good so you don't come back after us. But I can promise you if you go with Avis, it won't be good. I can promise you that. Just, again, go to their Facebook page. But
I was going to say there's plenty of other videos, Facebook.
You say, and you asked me, Sarah, are you ever going to quit talking about Avis? Once I get over what they did, I might, but I'm not over it yet. And it's been a year and a half. So, but anyway, Alamo, for us, that's the way to go. So anyway, thank y'all for watching. If you like this video, like and subscribe.
And find and follow us on Facebook.
And have a blessed night.